me, I ain't gonna lie, I'm petty as hell. Like if you fuck a lot of niggas, all that, I ain't gonna wife it. That's me. Everything about it, like being real, not cheating. She ain't been passed around, and it was like a body count. That's what really did it.
Okay.
3 reasons why her body count matters. First of all, before we even begin, let's just clear a bunch of bull crap off the table. You had a lot of people comment on this issue. Number 1, if you are not vetting her for a serious relationship, if you are not vetting her for wife, it shouldn't even matter to you. If you are engaging in hookup culture, you're meeting women on dating apps, you shouldn't even be asking the question because it doesn't matter. If she's doing it to you or she's doing it with you, she's doing it with other men. That's the bottom line. So just assume that she's hooking up with other guys. If you are meeting her on dating apps, she is hooking up with other dudes. I don't care what anybody tells you. I don't care what her bio says. Oh, not interested in hookups. She's definitely interested in hookups. She's definitely hooking up with other dudes. Otherwise, she wouldn't be on a dating app. She wouldn't be on a hookup app. Another thing we need to clear off the table. A man that has 5 baby mamas is very different from a woman who has 5 children from 5 different men. Let's be very clear about that. Understand, men with wealth and resources have always had multiple children. They've always had multiple women that they were dealing with. It's always been this way. That's not an insult. So women trying to point out the fact that he has 5 baby mothers, it holds no water. Because in order for a man to have 5 baby mamas, there has to be women who are willing to be the 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Another thing we need to clear off the table. Men and women are wired differently. There are different consequences for the same behavior. I don't debate people in this society on this point because people in this society have no understanding of that. They think that we are exactly the same. We are exactly equal. Everything applies the same consequences apply. Anything she can do, I can do. Anything I can do, she can do. I don't subscribe to that notion. That is why it's so difficult for people to understand why men want women with a low body count. Because the first counter argument is, well, what is yours? As if the same rules apply, and they don't. We are wired differently when it comes to spirituality. And we're going to get into that point right now. All right. So number 1, why her body count matters. First of all, if it's not 0, I personally don't care because I'm not putting her in a position of wife if it's not 0. You have to understand this whole body count thing. When people only look at it on the surface, they start to come up with all these stupid counter arguments. You need to have a full understanding of the spiritual consequences for a woman having intimate relations with multiple men. That is the number 1 reason why it should matter to you in terms of vetting her for the position of wife. Intimate relations is marriage. You are spiritually bonding to that person. That is why my standard is if it's not 0, I don't care. I cannot be married to a woman who's already married to another man. That's the reality of the situation. There are different spiritual consequences for a woman having multiple partners and a man having multiple partners. A woman is not wired to have multiple sexual partners because it makes no sense in nature. Because the purpose for intimacy is procreation. She can only be pregnant once at a time for damn near a year. So in nature, it makes no functional sense for her to have multiple partners. And her body punishes her for that by throwing off her biochemistry when she has all these dudes shooting up the club inside of her and all this other stuff going on. We're going to get into it today. We are going to get into it today. I didn't even want to touch on this, man, but they forced my hand. I had to. I didn't want to have to do it, but they forced my hand. See, the reason why there's a difference is because in nature, a man can impregnate as many women as possible as he has the energy to. I don't condone men just sleeping around, but that's just naturally, that's just what it is. A man can impregnate as many women as possible, as many women as he has the energy to in any given day. She can only be pregnant once at a time. So it makes no sense for her to have multiple partners. Even when you have birth control and all this other stuff, the same rules still apply. And the same consequences still apply. They don't apply biology. They don't apply spirituality and why those things affect us day to day. They don't apply these things. That's why it's so difficult for them to understand this. They bought into the idea that anything he can do, she can also do. Technically, you can, but the consequences are very different. You cannot be in a functioning relationship with a woman that has multiple intimate experiences and imprints from other men. It is impossible. You are going to run into problems in that relationship. That is why men are obsessed with finding out her body count. And that is why women instinctively try to hide it. That is why she lies about it, because subconsciously she knows that it affects her ability to be in that relationship. And men want peace in a relationship. They don't want unnecessary hurdles and obstacles. That is why men instinctually are hardwired to try to figure it out. Her experiences with other men imprint on her. She carries the spiritual essence of those men everywhere she goes. It never goes away. And the reason why people have such a hard time accepting this reality is because you literally have people in this culture who don't believe in soul ties. Oh, soul ties aren't real. Soul ties aren't real. Of course, a person who doesn't think there's a consequence to their sexual irresponsibility doesn't believe in something that's going to hold them accountable for it. The second reason it matters. Most men don't understand the reason she can't focus in your relationship. The reason she has mental and emotional issues is because it literally throws off her biochemistry. The likelihood of infidelity increases. The likelihood of divorce increases because she mentally cannot focus in that relationship. She mentally cannot pair bond to you. She mentally cannot apply herself to that relationship because she has one too many experiences with too many different men. And all of those instances fail. So for every failed relationship, she withdraws more and more into herself. You have to understand that. That is why it's important. It makes her incapable of focusing in your relationship. You cannot have a woman in your life occupying the most intimate position in your life that is 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And typically women who have multiple experiences with so many different men have 1 foot in and 1 foot out because she's expecting it to fail like all the rest. Everything we talk about over here has to do with defending your purpose, making sure you don't invite any unnecessary structures and obstacles to completing your purpose. Women who cannot focus in your life, women who cannot be on their assignment in your life as it pertains to your purpose, do not deserve to be in your life. She's going to threaten your purpose. We are about minimizing threats to our purpose and finding the most optimal way in order to conduct it, whatever it is, whether you do music, sports, teaching, it doesn't matter what it is. Inviting the wrong woman with the wrong set of characteristics into your life is going to threaten that purpose. This type of woman is one of them. This is the part that guys don't like to talk about because their standards are so low. They don't demand more for themselves because their mindset is not in a place where they can demand more. She's lower quality if she's dragging all that baggage into your life. She's lower quality. That ties into the third reason why her body count matters. The higher it is, the less effort she's going to put into the relationship. You have to understand, for every failed relationship, she withdraws effort for the next man. So if you're the 6th guy, you're getting less effort than the 5th guy. And he got less effort than the 4th guy. And he got less effort than the 3rd guy, so on and so forth. She withdraws effort for every relationship that fails. It's inevitable. She can't help it. We always talk about not accepting baggage. Baggage is literally a part of who she is. If you are not the first guy, you're getting baggage from that guy. It's just what it is. A lot of guys, you find yourself fighting the ghost of her past. Dudes that she's not even with anymore. You find yourself in a relationship not only with her, but with every other dude she's ever been with. That is just who she is spiritually. She absorbs the essence of those men. Y'all don't want to hear this, man. This is going to piss some people off, and I don't care. You're not only in a relationship with her, you're in a relationship with every other nigga she ever been with. And you're wondering why there's so much negativity in your life. You're wondering why she can't focus. She can't help it. Because women in this culture are not taught to preserve themselves for their husband. She doesn't value herself. She doesn't place any value on her mental and emotional state. Women who are sexually irresponsible tend to have terrible mental and emotional states. You do not have to ask what her body count is. You can look at her and how she moves through life and determine that it's one too many. Highest rates of anxiety, highest rates of insomnia, highest rates of depression, highest rates of all these other personality disorders. These things are not normal. It's only normal in this generation because this generation is taught to destroy yourself. And you men are still accepting it. This one's going to piss some people off. And I don't care. The funny part about this Lil Durk thing is so many people were pissed off But here's the thing. The only women who don't meet your standards will always shame you for those standards. The only women who will call you controlling for placing boundaries in a relationship are women who seek to violate those boundaries. The only women who will call you a narcissist for having an expectation of her are women who know they can never live up to those expectations. That is the reality. That is why so many women got pissed off when Lil Durk said the one thing that attracted him to India was her body count. The fact that she could present herself as a woman that has not been with all these different men. They got upset because they can't present that to a man. They got upset because she can't give him anything that she hasn't already given to another man. That's the reality. Her sexual history, her virginity, will always be one of the most valuable things she has to offer a man that she wants to marry her. It will always be that way. Not because of some weird perverted reason, but because of her ability to successfully bond to that man in that relationship without the influence of other men. That is why single mothers are typically looked over when it comes to consideration for a relationship. That is why women who've been out on the streets and Hot Girl Summer and Tinder and all this other foolishness, that is why they are looked over for consideration for a relationship, because it signals that she is not able to handle a serious relationship. And the funny part about it is women claim that it doesn't matter, but they're lying about it. They're coached to lie about it. Oh, just say it was 3 and they all were past relationships. Have you ever heard that before, guys? We all have heard that. They're coached to say that. You got some guys that say, okay, whatever number she tells you, just multiply that by 5. And that's your number. I mean, that might be great advice. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's probably much more closer to the actual number. But here's the thing. You don't have to ask. All you need to do is just observe her. Observe the way she moves. Observe the way she acts. That will tell you everything you need to know. It's not a mystery, nor should it be. That's all for today, folks, man. I'm 10,000 away from having 100,000 on TikTok. Make sure you follow me there. Also follow me here. Drop a like and a comment on this video. Let me know some suggestions, things you want me to cover, things you want me to talk about, and I'll see you on the next one.